Hello and welcome to today's Bitrix24 webinar, Next Level CRM. Okay, so thank you for joining today. Just before we begin the webinar, we'll go through some introductions. So my name is Sam Connor. I'm a sales engineer here at Interface, and we're Bitrix24 Gold partners. We're based in the UK, in the US and Hong Kong, and we offer a full range of services to help you with Bitrix24, starting off with pre-sale support, so we can discuss your requirements and see if Bitrix24 could be a good fit for your business. If it is, we can implement the software for you, set up with any specific requirements that you have. For a self-hosted edition, we offer our own hosting services, and we can provide you with training and ongoing dedicated support. Okay, so if you joined the webinar today, if you're brand new to Bitrix and you're wanting to learn more, Bitrix24 is a collaboration suite of in excess of 35 tools now to help you in managing your business. There are over 9 million customers around the world that use Bitrix24, and it is voted, specifically when we're looking at the CRM system, it is voted within the top 10 CRM systems globally. Bitrix24 is available in two different editions. We have the cloud and the self-hosted solution, and prices start from $19 for a cloud system and just under $1,500 for a self-hosted edition. Okay, so first of all, in the webinar today, we're on the Next Level CRM webinar. We want to understand why you should use Bitrix24 for your CRM system. So Bitrix24 has very powerful marketing automation features that you can use to generate new leads that can then start to be progressed through your CRM system. You can capture and qualify those leads quickly, creating your own custom stages that you can implement in the system. And we can then set up automation tools such as either client communications or actually internal activities for your sales team. So you can then start to progress those opportunities and convert them into sales. Throughout the entire sales pipeline process, you can customize the stages and the pipelines. So it's a very customizable CRM system. And we can integrate with lots of different platforms, from telephony through to email, mailboxes, even calendars. So it allows you to have a full 360-degree picture of all of the activity that you have with your customers. We can look at later on the reporting side of the system, so we can see how we can manage our teams, see how well they're tracking to targets, and analyze all of the data that comes out of the CRM system. Okay, so within the webinar today, we're going to break this down into several topic areas. So first of all, we're going to look at how we can use tools to generate new leads in our CRM system. We're then going to go through really a module overview of the CRM. So we're going to look at the system through all of the different entities. Following that, we'll do a case study. So we'll go through an entire process of creating a new lead through to closing and converting a deal. And then finally, we'll look at some of the reporting tools that are available on the system. As we go through the webinar today, please do add any questions that you might have. Add them into the chat window and we'll go through those during the intervals of the session today. Okay, so first of all, today we're going to look at the different ways we can generate leads using a variety of tools that Bitrix24 encompasses. So first of all, you can import leads manually. So we can import them via a CSV. So if you're new to Bitrix24, you want to get your data into the system, we can import via a CSV to generate you those leads in the CRM system. And you can also manually add your own leads one by one into the CRM. We also have live chat, so you can embed a live chat system onto your websites or multiple sites, and you can then communicate with your potential customers, and the information we gather through those live chats, they can automatically create you brand new leads in the system, and we'll have a look at how you can create a lead for yourself. There are social networks, so Facebook and Instagram, we can connect to those platforms. So again, all of the communications with people on those platforms, those can be fed straight into Bitrix24. A very popular feature are CRM forms. So you can create your own forms in Bitrix and embed these onto your websites. Very common type would be an inquiry form. And so when a potential customer on your site submits their details on that form, it can automatically route into the CRM, and specifically in here we're talking about generating leads, so you could have that submission generate a new lead in your CRM. We also have telephony, so you can integrate telephony, and when a new call comes in the system, if the number's not registered, Bitrix can generate a new lead in the CRM. We can create sites. So sites is a newer module within Bitrix that allows you to create your own landing pages in the system. So this links really with the next option, which is CRM marketing. So you could create email and marketing campaigns and have some links on those campaigns so you can send your potential customers to brand new landing pages that you have created. So you can really generate new marketing churn and leads using the sites and CRM marketing feature. And we also mentioned there about how we can also manually add leads into the system. Okay, so what we'll do now then, let's have a look at some of those features in more detail. So we looked at a variety of different tools you can use there to generate new leads in the system. One of those is the live chat feature. So within Bitrix24 in the contact center, you have the ability to create your own live chat systems. So within here, I can set up a live chat system. I can choose here who is responsible for dealing with any of those chat requests. So you can have chats routed to specific teams or people within your system, and we can then automatically generate leads in here. So if I go into the configure section, what it allows you to do is you can set up a setting here. So if the client is not found in the CRM, we can automatically create a brand new lead in the system. So if we just have a look now, if we just go onto one of our landing pages here that you can see, this was actually built using the sites module. So you can create your very own, very professional looking landing pages, and we can then incorporate different tools into here, such as it could be a web form, or we've got our live chat system here. So I might want to communicate with one of our sales team. Okay, so I can add that message into here. And that will then go through into our system. So what we can do is, if we just go into one of our sites, you can see that message has automatically routed into Bitrix. So I can reply to that directly from the Bitrix system. Okay, so we can then gather all of the details about that potential customer, and that can automatically then generate a brand new lead in the system. So if we just go back into here, we might want to gather some more information about this particular person. Okay, so we're going to submit that detail into here. And you can see now we've added that contact data, and Bitrix has tried to recognize if that's already a contact or a lead in the system. It's not, so it's automatically created a brand new lead and a page and a profile for that new lead in the system, and it brought through all of the data in the live chat that we can now use. So it's a really useful feature for managing your potential interactions with customers. And you don't just have to use the web portal here. A live chat can be fed into the mobile app, so you can reply to those conversations directly on the mobile device as well. Another feature Bitrix24 has, very popular, is the ability to create web forms. So as you saw on that landing page, we had a live chat, but also a web form incorporated into the page. What you can do is you can create your own web forms and embed those onto your websites. So if we just open up this form here, we can see a selection of fields that we have added to this form. And those simply come from the CRM system. So you can create your own fields inside the CRM, and they will pull into this form designer. So you can then select those fields that you want to add into this specific form. And you can have different types of fields. So from text fields to lists, you can decide it may be a file or a document you want the user to upload. We can add all of that in detail into here. And with this form, we can select where we want that data to be saved. Where in here do we want it to create a new entity? And we've selected it to go into a lead. But you could, for example, if you have deals, you might want to create and submit that into a specific pipeline. For every form you create, you can customize where that information is going to be routed to. Okay, we can then customize the design and look of the form. And if you're going to be embedding this form onto a site not created in Bitrix, what you can do is you can take the embedding code and add that to your website, so that form is then populated. And you can have different types here, so it could be a button or a link. You can decide how that is displayed on your site. Okay, so we've got a very simple form here. I want to select what type of inquiry this is, and I'm going to submit that form into the system. Okay, so we've just received that notification, so I can see a new form has been submitted, and we can go into the CRM, and 9 seconds ago it has created a brand new lead in the CRM system that we can now start managing, and it's brought through their information, and it's also automatically sent out an email to that potential customer using the automation tools that we'll have a look at later on, so we can then automatically communicate with the person who has submitted that inquiry. So it's a really useful feature that you can use in Bitrix to automatically generate new leads in the system. But if you want to be proactive, actually, so those are a few ways the lead can communicate with us. You can also use the marketing module to send out your marketing material to try and generate new leads into the system. So in here we have the marketing module that you can use to send out different types of marketing campaigns in the system. Now you do need to have a commercial license, whether that be cloud or an on-premise, to be able to use the marketing system. But when you do, you can then create different types of marketing campaigns. And we have, starting off with, if I just go back out of here, email campaigns. You can send SMS campaigns if you integrate with an SMS provider. We can do Facebook messages. And if you integrate telephony, you can do voice broadcasting and audio calls. So that's where a call would go to a customer, and when they answer that call, a message will get relayed to them. But if we have a look in the marketing and email campaign specifically, this is probably the most popular feature. Bitrix has lots of different templates that you can use. And it's very similar to some other marketing softwares out there, such as MailChimp. So we can now start creating our new campaign in the system. So all of these are simply blocks. So I can drag and drop these around. I can customize the information that is being displayed in these blocks. I can upload my images. And I can simply select from the right-hand side here the different types of blocks I would want to add. So maybe I want to add another image, for example. So you can create your campaign, and once you've created that campaign, you can then preview what this looks like on different devices. So I can see what this looks like on a phone, on a tablet, and also on a desktop as well. And then once you've created that campaign, you can then choose who you want to send this out to. And this is where it becomes really useful using the Bitrix marketing feature, because this talks with the CRM system. So it could be actually, if I go into all of our leads I might want to send this campaign out to all of the leads of a certain source, or maybe based on their inquiry type. So every single type of custom field that you create in the system, those custom fields get pulled into the marketing area, so you can send out very targeted marketing campaigns. And once you've sent those campaigns out, you can actually see more analysis on how those campaigns have performed. So first of all, you can see a recipient list, so you can see the status, if they've read or if they've clicked on the campaign. And further down, you can also, if we go into another area, see more visual representation of how well that campaign has done. So you can see the number of views, the number of clicks, and further down here, you can also see a click map. So this is a heat map essentially. So you'd be able to see where on the campaign your clients have clicked through. Okay, so that's a look at some of the different ways we can use the tools in Bitrix24 to generate new leads in the system. But before we now go on to have a look at the CRM system in more detail, let's just see if we have any questions. Okay, so could you explain how to connect live chat to your website? So if we just go back into the system here, and if we just go, we'll go into the CRM. This is probably the easiest way to show. Inside here, you have in the CRM system, you have your widget section. And this will show you all of those widgets that you have created. And if you go into here, you can see there is a code here. So this is your live chat code. You can then copy this and then add that to your website to connect the live chat system onto your site. So you just need to take the code that comes with the widget. Okay, another question, can you export leads out of the system? So yeah, we mentioned how you can import leads, but you also have the ability to take that data out of Bitrix24 as well. So in the lead section, if we just go into the settings area, you have the option to export leads into a CSV or into an Excel file. So you can take all of that data and information out of Bitrix24. Okay, so now we're in the CRM system. Let's have a look at really an overview of the CRM in some more detail. So Bitrix24 CRM is broken down into really 4 key entities. So we have leads, we have deals, contacts, and companies. So the first real entity is a lead. And leads are really for your general inquiries. So if somebody submits an inquiry form, for example, it will come into here as a lead. And what you should do in the lead section is you should qualify that lead. So you speak with them, gather more details about their request to see if it's a genuine business opportunity that you think is a viable opportunity to work on. And going through the lead section here, we can see all of the leads in our database. You can also see what stage each lead is at. So here we have new lead, first call, follow-up, looking good. And those stages that you progress a lead through are completely customizable. So you can have as many or as few stages as you require. You can change the name, the colors, how many stages there are. It's completely customizable to what your specific process would be. And we have a list view here, so we can see all of the details in this list display. It's completely customizable. You can also customize what information is displayed in here. So these are all our custom fields. So you can select which field you want to have inside this database. And there's also a slightly different view, which is the Kanban view. So inside here, you can progress your leads through those different stages like so. And at the top, you've got a filtering system. So again, all the custom fields you create, they're filterable in the platform. So I might want to look at all of our sales inquiry types. So you can drill down into any inquiry types, maybe by who's responsible for those leads, for example. So you can then drill down into any specific data points that you have for your leads. If we just go into a lead page, you can see on the lead page here on the left hand side, we have all of the details about the lead. You can create your own custom fields, so you can capture specific details and information that you want to store about the lead. You can create your own sections. So it's a really customizable CRM system. And then on the right hand side, we can see the communication log. So if you integrate your email, maybe telephony, you can see all of those communications directly in the system here. And you can filter through all of those communications, or if there's documents or notes, for example, you can filter through all of that in the platform. You can also create your own notes. So I can add notes into here. I can add documents and information. Maybe I even want to tag a colleague into this message and send them a notification. So you can completely customize exactly what information is being saved in the lead page. One other thing to mention within leads and in deals that we're going to go to shortly is you can run automation. An automation is either an activity, for example, or it could be a client communication that is triggered when you hit a certain stage in your sales process. So those stages that we mentioned, which are completely customizable, at each stage, we can have automatic rules take place. So for example, as soon as the lead comes in at the new lead stage, we're automatically sending out a thank you email to them, thanking them for their inquiry. And when we get to the first call, we're automatically scheduling a call for the responsible person, and we're also sending out an SMS to them. So you can create automatic activities at every stage of the sales process. But what we can also do is we can create triggers, and a trigger will automatically, based on that action, update the lead to a specific stage in the process. So it could be, for example, if you sent out an email and they clicked on a link, then based on them clicking that link on the email, we could automatically move them from wherever they are in the process to the looking good stage. So we can see that's a promising lead in the system. So if I now go to the first call stage, you can see now that's automatically scheduled a new call in our activity area. Okay, and so once you have progressed a lead through those different stages, hopefully it's now been qualified, you gathered all that information. What you can then do is you can convert that lead into a different entity. So for example, it could be you create a contact record and also a deal because there is a sales opportunity. And if you create a deal, you can then segment that deal into a specific pipeline. And pipelines are simply ways of segmenting your sales opportunities. So for example, here we're segmenting based on geographical location. But it could be, for example, if you're a real estate agent, you may have a buying pipeline and also a selling or a rental pipeline, for example. Okay, so that's looking at leads there. We can move those leads, then those qualified leads can then be moved into a deal. And this is where we really work on closing those different deal opportunities. You can see here the different pipelines that we have. So each pipeline is basically its own separate database in the system. Now, what's a really useful feature in deals is every single pipeline you create, you can see here the stages that we have for the different pipelines and also the automation rules. They are completely separate for every single pipeline that you create. And it could well be that maybe if you base your pipelines on different services you sell, there could be different steps and processes that the deal will go through. So that's a really useful feature within deals, that you can completely customize the processes and the automation rules as you progress the deal through the pipelines. And we've got again, we've got a list and a Kanban view, and the Kanban view is really useful in deals because you can see what value you have at every step of the sales process. And if we move that deal further on here, you can see now that value has updated for the quote with client stage. So it's really useful to be able to see and forecast your sales in the system. If we just go into a deal, again, you can see the layout is very similar. On the right-hand side, we've got the activity log, and on the left-hand side, we've got all of the deal information. Within deals, you can also add products. So inside here, you have a product catalog where you can select all of the different products or services that you want to associate to this particular deal, and we can then generate a value for that deal. We can also create documents such as quotes and invoices. We'll have a look at that in more detail during the case study. But what you can see in the deal is we've associated a contact into this deal. So you can associate contacts and company to the deal, and that will then link directly into the contacts page. So if we go into a contact page, you can see inside here, Mark Moon is a sales manager, so we can see all of their details. And we can see in the deals tab here, all of the associated deals that Mark Moon has. So every deal opportunity, it is linked back to the contact. We can see what stage it is at, all of the information about the deal. So I can simply click on the deal and it will open up that deal page. So it's really useful having all of that data linked back together. And it's exactly the same for all of your quotes and invoices that you associate to your contacts. So really you get a full 360-degree view of your client through interactions, so we can see all of the communications, but also all of the sales opportunities and how well we're closing those sales with those contacts. So we were just looking there at an individual contact, Mark Moon. You can see in the contact database here, you can see and store all of your contacts in the system. And again, you can filter through all of this data if you want to maybe segment your contact database in the system. And then we also have the company database. So this is where you can store all of the information about your businesses that you work with and sell to. And if we go into a company page, for example, the real key difference in here is you can associate multiple contacts into a company. So inside here, for example, if I wanted to add another participant, let's add Mark Moon, I can then add Mark as another contact inside this particular company. And now if we go back into Mark's page, you can then see Techco company has now been associated to Mark Moon. So you've got that two-way linking between contacts and companies. Now, when you create quotes and invoices in the system, we have a quote database and an invoice database. So if you create financial documents inside here, you can then see all of those different invoices throughout the stages that those invoices will go through. And again, this is completely customizable. So the different stages you would have an invoice go through, you can add those into the platform here, and you can filter through these as well. So it's a really useful way to keep on top of all of the quotes and invoices that you have generated across your deals and opportunities. Okay, so that's a look at really an overview of the CRM system, looking at the contacts and company area, the deals and invoices. Let's just check before we go through a case study if there are any other questions. Okay, is it possible to send an email from the Bitrix CRM but have my email address visible, not Bitrix24? So yes, you can. If you're talking about using the CRM system to send the email, what you can do is if we go into the contact center, you can integrate your email system into Bitrix24. So you can connect your email box into the platform. So you can see the different types of mailboxes that you can create. And then from there, you can send an email directly out from the CRM system, whether that be in leads, in deals, or in contacts. So if we just go into a contact page, what I can do is I could send an email directly from the contact page, and it would be using the email address that we have selected here. So it's one of our interface emails, for example. So if you send an email from here, you can add your email, you can add your branding and signature, you can use templates, and I can then send that out directly from the CRM system. Okay, and that will then go straight into the sent area here, so I can see that email has gone out, and I can quickly see that email, so you can see there that's gone out using our address. Okay, please do add any other questions into the chat box and we can run through those for you. Okay, another question, can we set permissions so different people can't see other people's leads? Yeah, that's a really good question. So yes, you can. If you're going to have responsible people for all of your different leads and deals and contacts in the system, what we can do is we can set permissions. So each sales agent, for example, can only see the leads that they are responsible for. So if we go into the permissions section, what we can do for every person in here, we can set different roles for those permissions. And based on those roles, we can then decide what level of access they have. So for example, on leads, we may say they can access all and read leads that are personal to them, so the ones that they are responsible for. And it could be, for example, we deny all access to the deal section. Maybe they just want to be able to access the leads section and only the leads they are responsible for. So it's a case of setting up your permission structure correctly in the CRM. That's something a partner such as ourselves, we can either train you or we can set this up for you. If it's something you're having difficulty with, we can help you with editing and setting the permission structure up correctly. And if you do need any support or any training on any of the areas we're looking at today, please do email sales@intraface.com. The details are on the slide here, and we can set up a call with you to discuss your requirements in more detail. Okay, so I don't think there's any more questions right now. Okay, so yeah, if there are any other questions, please add them in and we'll go through those before the end of the session today. Okay, so now let's go through a case study. So we'll go through and actually generate a brand new lead into the CRM system and then go through that lead and deal process and use some of those automations and create a brand new invoice in the system. Okay, so what we're first of all going to do, we need to generate that new lead in the system. Now, we've seen how there's lots of different ways we could create that new lead. One way I'm going to go through here and show you is, again, just a really simple web form that you can create. So I've created a form that can be embedded onto your website. So rather than being on a landing page on its own, that could be on a site that you have. So I'm going to submit that in the system. We've been notified, so let's go into there and see more information about that lead. Okay, so we're going to open the lead page. It's brought through the information. So I'm going to just change the name now of this to Dane. We can see the information's been added into here. It maybe you want to add some notes. So we've captured some more detail. So I can add some notes into here. Maybe I want to attach some documents and information. So I can now move up to the first call stage. So that's now been added into here. If you've got telephony, if you've got their number, you can make that call directly from the system itself. So you'll be able to record that call directly in the page. So we're going through here. We're going to go up and follow up on our call. Straight to the task to check back in with that potential customer. Okay, so they're happy with the price, so we're going to move that now into a deal opportunity. So let's move that to 1. I'm going to create a brand new deal, and I'm going to create a contact record for that new opportunity we've got. So I'm going to also segment this into a specific pipeline. I'm going to keep this in our UK pipeline. Okay, so that's now generated the new lead, and the lead has been completed in the system. So let's just now go through and refresh. And we can open up the deal page directly into here. So we can see now the deal has been created, the contact has been created. So we can now go into here, and it's brought through all of the information that we had stored inside the lead section. So when you convert a lead into a deal, that will still pull all of the information into here. Okay, so from here I'm going to send them an email. Okay, so we're going to send an email to say we're going to schedule a meeting with them. So we're going to send that out in the system. You can see that's now been sent, and now we're going to schedule a meeting. So let's put that meeting in here. So all of this activity we're logging in the system. This will get added into your activity log that we'll have a look at shortly. And also if you've integrated your calendar, all of the calls, the meetings you schedule in here, they will integrate into your calendar as well. So I'm just going to move this up now to the build proposal stage. Okay, so we're going to have that meeting. We're going to actually create the proposal. So from here, I'm going to actually start adding products into this particular deal. So we're going to go into, say, our services section. Let's go into here and add a new site. We're going to save that information. So we've now got a value associated with the deal. So I'm going to say we've built that proposal. We've completed the meeting. We've got the value. And then from here, you can start to generate new documents. So, for example, you may want to create a quote in this particular deal. So what you can do is you can use the document generator to create your very own, I say, financial documents, such as quotes and invoices, but it doesn't just have to be quotes or invoices. You might want to create contracts, or it could be a schedule of work, for example. You can add your own templates and then map across any information that's stored in the CRM system. So it's brought through all of the detail in the quotes, and I'm going to then create a quote template. So we've got our own quote template. It's now going to map across all of the information that we have submitted in the deal. Okay, so it's brought through their details, brought through the date, it's brought through the product information and the value of that particular deal. And now I'm going to send this out via an email to them. So I can simply click on the email. It's going to bring through the quotes. Okay, so let's send that quote out. So we sent that to Dane via an email. So I'm going to move this actually up now so you can create your own stages for quotes. So we're waiting on the client, and then once that hopefully has been approved, then I can go into here and approve the quote, and I could then generate an invoice from that quote. So it can pull all of that information from the quotes onto here, and again I could send this out to them. So for now I'm going to say this has been sent out to the customer. And we're going to say we're currently at the approved stage inside here. So all of those different financial documents we've created, they're linked into the deal as well. So we've got the quotes and the invoices. It's all linked together. we mentioned how you can not just generate financial documents. So this is the document generator area. So you can upload your own templates, and we can then map across all of the different fields from the CRM system. So these are what we call the symbolic codes that you would map onto your documents, and it's then going to generate the information based on that field. Okay, so maybe from here I want to go into our invoices area, so I can see all of the invoices across all of the different deals that we've been working on. And maybe Dane has actually now authorized, and maybe they've paid this. So I'm going to move this invoice up to the page stage, and I'm going to close that particular deal in the system. And if we just go into the contact record, you can see all of that. This is linked together. So you've got the deal, the quotes, the invoice, everything is now linked together in the system. I'm going to say that's now been won on the platform. So it's all linked back together. And again, you could use automation in here. So rather than manually creating those quotes and invoices, using automation rules, you could actually automatically have that quote or invoice automatically generated in the platform. And we've seen how we can schedule lots of different, say, tasks or calls or meetings. All of your activity is then added to your activity section in here. So this will show you all of the activity across the entire CRM system. So it could be, for example, you want to look at all of the calls that you have scheduled for tomorrow. All of that information will be added into here. And you also get a calendar with Bitrix. So the information that is added in the CRM system will also be added into your calendar as well. Okay, so that's all there, a case study going through those different sections. Now let's move on to some of the reporting features. So obviously there's lots of data and information that we're storing in the system. We need to be able to report and analyze on all of those different data points that we have. Okay, so the first area within the system is what we call CRM Analytics. So this takes all of the data that you have from the CRM, and it builds dashboards of reports that you can then use to report on. So for example, in here, in our lead analysis area, we can see how well all of our team have converted leads into new deal opportunities in the platform. We can see a graph here, and you can also create your own filters on here. So again, all of the fields that you create in the CRM system, they will pull into the analytics module. So if you want to create very targeted reports in here, you can use the reporting features. There's lots of different reports in here. It could be, for example, you might want to set targets for your team, so you can see how well they're tracking and closing new deal opportunities in the platform. And you also have your own reporting area where you can build your own dashboards of reports. So you can then create your own reports in here. So that's really the first section, the analytics module. If we go back into the CRM, obviously we've mentioned how you can export information. So if it could be you might actually want to do some more analysis on this externally to Bitrix, so you can export lead and deal data into Excel and CSV. And what's really useful is because you can filter on here, it could be actually you want to look at all of the leads of a responsible person. So I can filter down into here. I might want to select certain data points into this list view, and then I could export that. So you can take out very specific details and information. Again, if we go into deals, obviously in terms of forecasting, if you've got a value associated to all of your deals, you can then see what value you have at different steps in the process. So this is really useful for forecasting your future sales opportunities and figures. And we also have the report builder. So what this allows you to do is it allows you to build your very own reports from scratch based on the data in the system. So we've opened up into the deal section here. So I can give this report a name and a description. I can choose my reporting period. And then I can choose what information I want to add into this report. So this will pull every custom field that you have, so you can now start to build out your report. You can also create filters, so you might want to, for example, filter on a specific pipeline. You can also add a chart, and then I can select who I want to share this report with. So it might be with certain people, or it may be just for myself, for example, so I don't have to share it with everyone. So that's another way. Rather than using the analytics module, you also have the report builder where you can build your very own reports from scratch. Now, one of the features just to mention that Bitrix have brought out recently that links with the CRM system is what we call smart process automation. So I just wanted to maybe make you aware of this because it's a very new feature that Bitrix24 have released. And what this allows you to do in the system is it allows you to create your very own entities. So we've mentioned how you can have lead, deals, contacts, and companies. This new feature actually allows you to create new entities that can link with any of those existing entities, such as contacts, for example. So I just want to show you quickly inside here, we've got a selection of new smart process automations we have set up. And one of those, for example, is what we call a help desk. So with the Bitrix24 cloud system, there is no help desk module as such. But what you could do, for example, using smart process automation, is you could create a help desk entity. And within that new smart process automation, you can, very much like you can do with leads and deals, is you can create your own stages that the item will progress through. You can also create your own automation rules. So for example, here with this help desk feature, what we have done is we have set up different stages that these requests will go through. And if we just go into a request, you can see the layout of this particular help desk entity. It's very similar to what you see on leads and deals. So you can store all of the information associated to this particular item. And what's really useful is, so for example, this laptop broken request, you can link that back to any other entity in the system. So for example, this has been linked back to a contact in the contact database. And when you create those new entities, they see they have a brand new tab in that contact page. So for example, if I click on the help desk area, I can see all of the different requests that this contact has actually added into that help desk area. So this new process, it allows you to create your own new processes that can then be interlinked back to other entities in the CRM system. So this is a brand new feature with Bitrix, and it's going to become a really powerful tool. So I just wanted to show you this to show, for example, how you may create your own help desk process inside the CRM system. Okay, so there's no more questions right now, so we'll just move on to look at some of the differences between the cloud and the self-hosted edition. So in terms of the CRM, both include leads, deals, invoicing, and reporting features. In terms of the free cloud edition, you don't have access to the marketing module, and there will be limitations on how much information you can store in the CRM. Both editions include custom layouts, and you can run automation through leads and deals. And with the self-hosted, it's possible to actually fully customize this. So for example, if you wanted to rename leads or deals, we could rename the terminology for you in the platform. Okay, so in summary today, we've looked at how we can use the marketing module to generate new leads into our system. And through the CRM, we can use automation in leads and deals to help qualify and channel those new sales opportunities into closed sales. We can communicate on multiple channels, from email communication, we can add notes, integrate telephony, and this helps to give us a 360-degree view of all of our interactions with our potential customers and our existing customers. And then we had a look there at the ability to forecast using the deal feature and the really robust reporting tools that we have in the CRM so we can really analyze how well our sales teams are performing. Okay, so thank you for joining the Next Level CRM webinar today. I hope you found that useful. If you do have any questions before next week's webinar, please do email sales@interface.com and we'll be happy to set up a meeting with you to discuss those. But hopefully you'll be able to join us next week. Bye for now.